What is up, RotoGrinders? Welcome to Tuesday, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock on the East Coast. So, of course, I'm just time of the flagship show here at RotoGrinders. It's called GrindersLive. We're here for the next hour. We hand it off to Crunch Time. Crunch Time takes you home 7:30 start. That would explain why we're jumping on a little bit later today. Also, it's a kind of a baby slate. It's a 5-gamer. So you got myself and Chop. You guys know Head Chopper, 2-time millionaire winner. We'll be breaking down the 5-gamer game by game in just a second. Chop, happy Tuesday. How are things?
They're all right, Dean. I mean, a little bit awkward timing with the show today. Just in terms of they finally put out a good college basketball tournament tonight. Finally, there's some money up top, right? Well, I mean, I'm gonna try to, but the show ends right when that thing kicks off. So that means this last hour, I'm kind of flying blind. It kind of stinks for the timing today, but they got a good one out there. You got to play it, man.
What's up to the chat? Kindly hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn those notifications so you know, like at 5 o'clock, you're not freaking out. Like, why is this show not on? Well, you probably could have pieced it together. But, yeah, going live today at 6. We did get news that Chris Boucher is out with his illness. He had the fish. Eric in chat says it's snowing in Texas. People are freaking out. It's also snowing in Florida. And not really. It's snowing in the Panhandle, which is it's technically Florida, but not really. Whatever. It's two different worlds. Florida, the Panhandle, and where I live in Florida. But yeah, it's like 78 here, Chop. Is it snowing by you? I'm guessing it's not snowing by you.
Well, the funny thing is, Dean, that right now we're at 39 degrees. This morning, since like midnight last night, up until just a couple hours ago, it was below freezing. And when I woke up this morning, there was a small, thin layer of snow on the ground, not much. But then I got some friends' communication and some different text channels, and boy, they got a bunch of it in Galveston and Houston. Crazy. They got a lot of snow.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, bizarro, man, bizarro world. But so it actually did here in Texas get a little in places that it just doesn't ever snow. So weird like that, but yeah, it's cold front, man. Cold front coming in here.
Didn't it? Last time that happened, wasn't like the panels. Were you guys ready, like more prepared for it this time, or is everybody freaking out, or we're doing okay, or what? As far as you know.
Well, listen, Texas, especially getting the southern parts of Texas, where they don't get, like you said, Panhandle. Texas has a Panhandle too, which will definitely get cold, snowy weather.
Yeah,
that's not real Texas. Texas is down there. Houston, even Dallas is, but it's a little bit north. Those kind of they don't get snow, so driving not advised. Anytime we get ice on the road, just not advised. We're just not equipped for it. You can go. People got snow chains in certain states. It's for a reason, right? It could be dangerous if you're not prepared. So stay off the roads. We're not prepared for that. But as far as what you're talking about, the electrical grid. When snow hit last time, several years ago, the state was not prepared at all, man. And there was a lot of mess. That was messy, big time, and dangerous.
Hopefully you guys avoid that.
But so far, so good in this little encounter. It has held up.
See, Lord King Guru is saying it's look like it's snowing also in central Georgia. Travis is saying in Beaumont, I guess, is at 7 inches. Eric says it's -3 where he's at. Beach Bum says it's -8. Up in Minnesota, man, I guess it's cold for everybody. Yeah, last I checked, it was 78 here, but that was earlier in the day. That's not me throwing in anybody's face. It's just factually correct. By the way, Chop, you asked me what day today is. It is a Tuesday, and typically it's a television Tuesday. But I thought, 5-gamer, baby slate, funky time. Let's change things up. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's do something a little bit different. So what we're doing today, Chop, is Thespian Tuesday. Thespian Tuesday. Now, you may ask, what is Thespian Tuesday? Well, if you played Movie Monday, if you played Film Friday, Fleet Thursday, it's the same exact game, except what we're doing here is we're guessing a thespian. We're guessing a thespian. The very first clue is scrolling right now. Producer Steve has dropped it. You same deal. Give us the answer in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel. yeah, tell me what Thespian I am talking about. Chop, you can play along at your own leisure in our little side chat. But yeah, that's what we're doing. And well, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. We'll have a little bit of fun. Figure I'd get a little curveball today. It is Thespian Tuesday. First person guessing correctly gets a week free. RotoGrinders Premium. Weird slate tonight, Chop, right? 3 games. It's a true doubleheader, right? 3 games starting at 7:30 on the dot. Then we have 2.5 hours, and then we have Philly and Denver. I believe that is the back half of the TNT or ABC. No, not ABC. ESPN doubleheader. And the Wizards and the Lakers. Tricky stuff is, injury. You have to plan appropriately. Philadelphia is a mess. They could get even messier. We did get Boucher officially ruled out for Toronto. We'll know about that. Orlando's a mess, but we'll know about that. We'll know about all that stuff at 7:30. If we don't know about it, Crunch Time is going to know about it. Looks like Anthony Simon's officially in for Portland. Thank you for that, Don Yeezy. I see it dropping there in the chat. Earlier in the day, we did an upgrade of Anthony Davis. I thought there was a decent chance he would sit because they're playing the Wizards. Seems like a good rest spot. I believe they're playing Boston, not tomorrow, but the next day. Well, the other thing is, Chop, is that we have 5 games, and I think 4 of the 5 games are scheduled blowouts. Right, 4 of the 5 games have totals, not totals, but the favorite is a double-digit favorite. So we have 4 double-digit favorites out of 5 games. One of those games is the only one that includes front and back as far as back-to-back stuff. New York is on the back end of a back-to-back. Brooklyn is on the front end of a back-to-back. So both those teams back-to-back, one way or the other, and also a scheduled blowout with Brooklyn being, 12, 13-point dogs here. Every other team is on an island game, so that's nice to see. Did not play yesterday, will not play tomorrow. So, Chop, how are we setting up? Because we got Philly as well, which again, Philly is messy. They could get really messy. The prices have adjusted somewhat, but yeah, Paul George is currently questionable. Yabusele is questionable. Drummond is questionable. Of course, we know Embiid. I mean, he can't play in Denver as is, but he's also hurt, so he's not playing definitely for sure. Are you doing anything specific to set yourself up? Because my thought earlier in the day was I'm going to pay for Davis and just swap him into LeBron if Davis is out, that kind of thing. Or you got to have a plan. Basically, is the point. That just the way these games are set up, it's pretty tricky. Almost definitely, we're not going to get news on Philly by 7:30 on the East Coast. We're not going to get full clarity on other stuff as well. So, how are you handling that? What's your plan of attack?
What's my plan of attack? I don't really see I don't think it's any different than any other night.
Okay.
I mean, first of all, I like the way it's set up. I mean, obviously, if I had my perfect world, I'd like every single game to tip off at the same time, and then I don't even have to worry. But this is the second best, where you get everything at first, all at the same time, and then boom, a little downtime, and then you come back later on if you need to. But as far as LA, I just don't see any problems there. I don't think there's anything that's going to happen that is going to. Anthony Davis is probable, so
yeah,
I don't see anything there. And then Philly, I think we kind of know what's going to happen with Philly. I'm not going to play anything different. There's not enough games here to get too cute with it. I don't think so. I'm playing it fairly straight up here.
Philly, for what it's worth, Andre Drummond's questionable, Paul George questionable, Dancing Bear Gerson Yabusele questionable. You think you know? I don't know. I don't really have a strong lean. You feel and how much does that matter? It's possible they're down the no centers, basically. Well, not no centers. They'll have the what's the guy's name? I can't even think of. And Joker is just going to completely annihilate him. Bona. Yeah, it's possible he'll be the last man standing. They do have Pete Nance as well, Larry's brother. But you think they're just going to play? Is that your guesstimate?
My guess is Embiid is out and the others play.
Okay.
But I mean, I just don't know why I would. There's only 2 games later on. There's only 5 games total. I can't alter my rosters just to sit there and wait on the Embiid. I got to play the good players. If they happen to play in the first 3 games, I got to play them. I can't wait. So I'm not really worried about it. But how close am I on my guess, Dean? I took a
I was just responding. I see what you did. I know what you did there. But no,
Okay.
that is not correct. But
Okay.
I respect the guess. I respect the guess. But I see a lot of people guessing in the YouTube chat. And as always, if you get it correct on the YouTube, you don't. There's nothing to get. You get a little shout out to you, I suppose. And I think the other day we saw somebody just going to copy it and just take that answer and throw it in the Discord. And hey, that's how it works. First person in Discord gets yourself a week free of RG Premium if you get correctly guess. Thespian Tuesday. All right. Anything else of note we do want to mention before we dive in? Some news just dropped. What was that?
No, I was just thinking about we got 50 minutes to fill and there's only 5 games. This is going to be tough. But so I'll ask you, Dean.
You think it's going to be tough? You really do, Chop? Have you done a show before?
Before we get it rolling, how'd you enjoy the national championship game last night?
I did not watch a second of it.
Did you have any bets on it? Because I
did.
I did. Did you have the good side of it?
Well, I didn't bet a lot.
Okay.
But I did have because Hard Rock is the only sportsbook app down here in South Florida or Florida, including the Panhandle, and they give you some boost. And the boost they had was Notre Dame plus 9.5 or 10.5, whatever it was. And I got my friend who's like tilting the whole game, like keeps texting me. I'm like, I was watching a movie. I was watching Wolves with George Clooney and Brad Pitt on the Apple. Finally got around to that. But I was going to sweep everything with the total and all that stuff, and but unfortunately, I guess there was a last-second touchdown for Ohio State. By the way, LeBron was there. He was probably partying late. Are we sure LeBron plays tonight?
Yeah, I think LeBron's pretty professional at this kind of stuff. But Dean, I have to say, man, first of all, Ohio State. I'm not one to toot my own horn, Dean, but I put a national championship bet in them on August. So I was feeling pretty good about that last
in August. Were they expected to be a top tier team? I assume so.
They were pretty high. I get bad odds. I don't even have sports books like you guys. I got just a guy out there hangs out in a diner and has a phone booth within 10 feet, and he walks to the phone booth to make calls. But
sure.
But I was pretty on that. But I will say, boy, I was this close, man, to just hitting the nuts on the player props, Dean. But you know what happened? And you didn't watch the game, so you don't know.
No.
I had the Notre Dame running back over 5.5 receiving yards. First drive of the game, they throw him a screen pass for 7 yards.
Oh no!
I'm at 7 yards. Dean. I'm already chalked it up. It's over with.
He passed out.
Yeah. He didn't get another pass thrown to him the rest of the game until the last drive of garbage time, in which they threw him a pass and he lost 2 yards to go back to 5. So I missed the over 5.5. That was disappointing to say the least. But otherwise good game. But that was rough. That was a bad beat right there.
Yeah, I was kind of happy to see Ohio State win just because my mom recently passed, and she's from Ohio, and she watched them all season long, so she would have enjoyed it. So I guess I
enjoyed that. Not to mention, Dean, the added bonus that we didn't have to listen to Siege gloat about a Notre Dame championship. So that's also icing on the cake right there.
That you can't put a price on that for sure. So I did see. I saw a couple plays. I suppose I didn't actually watch the game live. But I saw enough of it to get the gist of it, and a friend of mine was updating me throughout. That was like fully tilting it. But all right, we already can get bet next season, I'm sure, right? Are they I know people are still talking about wanting to fire the coach. That's a joke, I'm guessing, because he keeps losing to Michigan. Is that the story?
Yeah, he probably earned himself a couple extra years. He probably earned himself an extra year. We'll see how he handles Michigan next year.
All right. 5-gamer. Anything else of note before we dive in? We did get Robert Williams officially in as well. Simons and Williams for Portland in that later game. So some clarity coming to us. I wonder if we probably got updated projections as well with Boucher being out. It's not a huge deal, but probably helps. Yeah, about 10 minutes or so ago on the lineup HQ. Give it a refresh. Maybe Grady Dick gets a little bit of a bump, a little bit more solidified. But not that Boucher was getting a lot of minutes, 15 to 20 or so. Let's do it, Chop. It's TNT doubleheader tonight. TNT stuck with another Philadelphia game. I know I swapped out of one of them. I guess you can't swap out of them all. They're stuck with Philly once again. First one we're going to talk about is New York and Brooklyn. Again, lots of blowouts on layaway. 4 of these 5 games are, a team favored by at least 10. This will be one of them. New York and Brooklyn, 219.5 is a total, not terribly appealing. Brooklyn is a 12, 13-point dog here. You got first blood revenge for Mikal Bridges, at least in Brooklyn. I'm not sure if they've met earlier in the year or last season. I don't recall. It's at least some sort of revenge to some degree, I suppose. We'll see how vengeful he is. Who's in and who's out for New York? Well, Chop, New York is fully healthy. Cat and Hart, they're both on the injury report. They're both officially probable. We haven't seen Mitchell Robinson all season long, maybe at some point later on, but it's been a while since you've seen him. Maybe playoff time. Brooklyn is a mess. They're in the full, they're doing their tankathon thing. Simmons is out. Cam Thomas is out. Zaire Williams is now out. They gave him an ankle. I don't know if we've seen Bogdan Bogdanovic all season. I don't know if we will. DeAnthony Melton, he's got the ACL, so he's done for the year. D'Angelo Russell, he's available, despite the fact they gave him hamstring tightness injury management. So we're expecting him to start. He's one of the better value plays in the slate, but feels a little bit dicey to me, just fragile, just kind of being on that team. How do you feel about New York and Brooklyn? Not one of my favorite games.
I mean, you can't be too choosy tonight, Dean.
I know.
Can't be too choosy tonight, man. We're dealing with a small slate here, but so I think you're right. D'Angelo Russell probably going to be a little chalky for good reason. He's only 5,800. He's going to project pretty well, so it's a little rough. But what else do they have? They don't have very much else on that team, so you might have to go there for a little bit. But he's about the only one in that lineup that I feel even remotely decent about. Cam Johnson would be next in line, but he's pricey now, so it's not like he's a must play. But the rest of those guys are pretty much garbage. I mean, I hate to say it, and I say that with all due respect to them, but they're just not very good. So I don't know, and they're gonna have a hard time keeping this thing close to New York. But the good thing about New York, we don't really worry too much about minutes, even in blowouts. They'll get there, especially on a small slate. There's not much safer than that. Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson are your 2 big dogs. The price gap is now a little bit closer than it probably has been all year long. Only a $700 difference there on DraftKings. So I think Karl Anthony probably moves back ahead of Jalen Brunson for me, whereas Brunson, when he was cheaper, was probably a little bit better. But now I'll go back to Cat. Those guys are good. Mikal Bridges has played Brooklyn twice this year already as a New York Knick, and he did pretty well in both games, actually very well, all things considered. So, sure, if you want to go Bridges, go for it. Josh Hart, it's a rebounding, monster there, and he does a lot of good things. So, but he's been banged up. You got to worry about, if there was somebody who was going to get a little bit foot off the gas pedal because of a blowout, it would be Josh Hart. I'd be a little bit leery on that at that price tag. And then there's always OG. So I think they're all in play to a certain extent on a small slate. So I don't know. Yeah, it's not super exciting, but you got to keep all your options open on this kind of a slate.
We most popular player we're seeing on DraftKings right now is Russell, 23%. Again, just the price is pretty good. And that's only giving him 26 minutes, which I'm not sure he's going to get 30, but I think there's at least a chance he gets 28, 29. But, Brooklyn, again, they're not motivated about winning games necessarily. But the other thing I like, Chop, with these teams that are just trying to tank, I like them better versus good teams because I think their rotations are more predictable. Against the worst teams, those are the ones that you're just they're going to do everything they can to lose. And they might just not, play some of their better players. But if they're playing the Jazz, then I'm more on alert. Oh boy, this is a team that this game actually matters more for the tankathon. But New York's probably going to beat them either way, so you might as well at least you could play your guys a little bit harder, I think. And that's there's no real data to confirm that. That's just the way I see it. Just watching the games, and that's my own little theory. Does that mean anything to you? I don't know. It could be nonsense, but that makes sense to me in some capacity. Also, this is a national TV game, right? Pretty sure this is a national TV game, right? I'm pretty sure that's a. You better double check. Yeah, this is TNT. It's probably the only one you might have the entire season in Brooklyn. Maybe they get up for it. Who knows? $64 gets you in the door, by the way, according to ESPN.
Wow. I could think of a lot of better things to spend my money on, man.
Top Shots?
$64. Just put that in perspective. I get it. It's not a lot, I guess, for a basketball game in general, but
yeah,
it's kind of a lot to watch Brooklyn play.
The most expensive ticket on the board, $19 to get in Miami. This is before all the nonsense, obviously. $20 for Toronto, and that's probably loonies and toonies. $12 Denver, $12 to see Joker, and $33 for the Lakers. So there you go. That's if you're curious, that is what we have. Anything else you want to stress as far as this game? Like, again, it's going to be low owned. Brunson 8%, Hart 10%, Cat around 11%. I think Davis is going to be much more popular, assuming he goes, and we have to go under the assumption the upgrade to probable. And if he doesn't go, it's already going to be too late anyway. You probably can't swap back because if that news comes out, if it goes the other way, that the Cat's already in the middle of playing, almost definitely. You got anything else as far as New York and Brooklyn? All right. Do you want a second clue, Chop? Let's give you a second clue.
Please do.
All right. Second clue for Thespian Tuesday. It's a different game. The second clue, Chop, it is versatile. Red and versatile. That is your two clues. We'll drop another one about 10 minutes or so. Let us know the answer. What Thespian am I talking about? Tell me in the RotoGrinders Discord. RotoGrinders Discord / live stream chat channel. Okay. By the way, shout out to Ichiro, who's a Hall of Famer. I'm sure nobody one vote shy of unanimous. Are you serious? Are you still doing that nonsense? Really? How is he not a unanimous Hall of Famer? Like, who's the one guy? Is that a thing where like only one person ever was unanimously voted? Am I making that up, Chop? I don't know. I feel like that's a thing.
I don't know. I don't really. The chat's telling me Billy Wagner got in on his last opportunity, so that's good.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
Billy Wagner famously broke his arm when he was like 5 or 6 years old. Yeah. And then he just said, screw it, I'm going to throw my other arm. He just turned himself into a lefty at like 6. Shout out to Billy Wagner. He was the guy that gave up the famous home run, though, right? Was it the Blues?
No, that was Brad Lidge.
Brad Lidge, yeah. It's still up there in the train tracks somewhere in Houston. All right. Second game, Portland taking on my Miami Heat. 220 is the total. The Heat are 10-point favorites. I think the most interesting thing, we'll find out probably a half hour before lock. Will Keloware start? Superman himself, he's been spectacular of late. He's been playing alongside Bam. He started the second half, I believe, last game. Haywood Highsmith is the guy that would probably take the biggest hit. I mean, they're saying they're raving about him in practices as well. I talked about him a couple times. When Bam is out, obviously he thrived. Very similar to the comp, if you haven't seen him, is like Derek Lively. He's long, he's bouncy, throw it up, he'll throw it down. Good stock guy as well, and also can step out and hit a three-pointer as well. The actual injury report here for this game, well, Kamara was just downgraded an hour ago, so he's probably not going to play. He's questionable. We'll see. Stay tuned. Klingon is out, the big man. But we did get Anthony Simon upgraded to probable, as is Time Lord himself, Robert Williams, is probable as well. Chris Murray, I don't know if he was updated or not, but I have questionable on the injury report as of the 5:30 injury report. Stay tuned on that, I suppose. But, Miami, Tyler Hero, he got a downgrade as well. He's questionable. He's got a groin. This does seem like a spot where if you want to rest him, I guess you can rest him. Drew Smith obviously done's over the season. No Josh Richardson, and do we think Kalel starts, because he's currently projecting, Chop, and there's a little bit of a hedge here. I imagine it's tricky because before, like 3-4 games ago, whatever it was, he was just straight backup for Bam 5, playing 14 minutes a night or whatever it is. We're projecting him for 22. I imagine that projection will jump up if he's starting. He's not currently projected in our starting lineup. We have Hero, Robinson, Butler, Highsmith, and Bam. I'm a little bit concerned about him being super chalky if he's not starting. I think that's kind of possibly bad chalk. And I don't want to besmirch. I don't want to speak poorly of Keloware here. But it is fragile, but they did start leaning into. And the thing is, it worked out. Like Bam and Khalil playing together was awesome. Their defense was great. I'm curious what they're going to do, but a little hesitant if he doesn't start. But also, Highsmith could be like one of those fake starters. So I'm curious your thoughts. That to me is the biggest question.
Dean, we need the buzzer. We need the buzzer.
What we got? News?
We got big news, Dean. Big news.
Is LeBron out?
Buzzer.
Hero. Oh, he's
Hero out.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh boy. So Terry Rozier. We're gonna play Terry Rozier tonight, and possibly Jimmy Butler. Maybe. I don't know. Oh boy. I think we have an if then. Good timing, by the way, with that Spo, because we're talking about Miami right now. I think we have an if then set up for this. I'm trying to pull it up on the fly, but yeah, we have Orlando stuff. Yeah, okay, here's our if then. Terry Rozier will become our best quote unquote value. 32 minutes, about 29 DK, 28 FanDuel, Nikola Jovic as well. And then Khalil Ware holds his value still 22 minutes. Duncan Robinson, Jaime Jaquez, some darts. Bam's still not projecting great. Butler's still not projecting great. This is at least what they had set up before this news dropped. How do you feel about Terry Rozier chalk?
Pretty much like I always do. It's not the Charlotte days anymore, so
yeah,
it's a little rough. But he's shown some signs lately of getting his act together. But the team in general is pretty messed up. So I don't know. But it's a great matchup for anybody on that roster that wants to perform well tonight. They've got a good matchup going for them. So yeah, I mean, it's a small slate. We're gonna have to do some weird things. So I guess I don't mind that. That's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff right there. What you got now? You got something else for me?
No, I'm just thinking about. I don't want to play. I don't want to tie up too much stuff for 7:30 because I think some nonsense can happen later. I like that leave spots open, like if at least tiebreakers. But I feel like we're going to have a fair bit of Miami now. When New York and Brooklyn, we can kind of sort of somewhat avoid. Orlando might be really popular as well, the way things are shuffling out, depending on, they have several players that are currently questionable in an awesome matchup versus Toronto. And, you can't project Davis or LeBron is going to sit, but I really felt like one of them was going to sit today. And now I don't know who. I was leaning Davis because he was questionable and he got upgraded to probable. LeBron could still be in Atlanta for all we know. Probably not. I assume he's not. But yeah, and the Ware thing, what do we do with Ware? It's tricky. It's tricky. We're giving him 22 minutes, which is again feels a little hedgy.
What do you mean by hedgy? Describe, give us the rundown on the word hedgy.
Because I think there's a chance. I don't think it's likely, but I think there's a chance. Maybe the part of the reason why they gave Ware that start or more minutes against San Antonio was because they're facing Wemby, and Wemby's just a different beast, right? Portland doesn't have a Wemby for the. It's a different. The defense lines up differently, right? You don't have to think about somebody like that. I'm thinking there's a possibility. I don't think it's likely, but a possibility that if he doesn't start, he's just a straight backup for Bam, and he plays back to 15 minutes. That to me shouldn't happen because again, he's played well in practice. When they played alongside each other in a small sample last game, they were awesome together. I think it was plus 11 or plus 12. It was they won the game running away. He's theoretically a future piece here for Miami, and you're not going anywhere unless you want to kid yourself. You're not going anywhere this year. So why not further develop him? I don't know. Pushing him back to 13 minutes doesn't make sense to me. Is it possible? I think it's possible. Or 15 minutes, whatever it is. But I imagine they're going to play alongside Bam and Ware, at least to some degree. Also, what if Jovic plays really well? Maybe Jovic would steal a few minutes from him because he's one of those guys who was penalized, not just Highsmith, but Jovic lost some minutes as well. So I just think he's got a bigger range of potential minutes than most. Most of these guys we kind of sort of know, he's going to play 27 to 29 minutes. And I think there's a chance Ware plays 27, and I think there's a chance he plays 16. That's all. And the other part of it is that, at least in the stuff I was running, where do we have him as far as ownership? So we have him at 27%. Okay, he was hitting well more than 27% of the stuff I was running. So maybe I'm thinking he's going to be way more chalky than if he starts, Chop. If he starts, people are just going to play him, and that's that. I mean, that's just how it's going to go. So that's where I'm at on it. I like him. I'm just a little bit hesitant if he's chalky and not starting, but maybe he's not as popular as I expect, especially with more news coming in and more values opening up.
I don't know. I think he'll probably be pretty popular because everybody's looking at the projections and what we're giving him. So I think he'll be pretty popular. And then yes, you got to make your own decision out there. He's an electric per minute guy. We know that he always has been. So he got that going for him. It's just a matter of the minutes. I don't know. We'll see. I think the one I would be really. We've talked about Rozier, possible chalk, Khalil Ware, possible chalk. The one I'm leery of is Duncan Robinson chalk, which will happen now.
Yeah.
One I'd be very, very, very scared of right there. So,
have you? Let's see. Have they updated that now with the hero being out? Is that projections changed? Yeah,
no, I didn't see that. I just feel sometimes you just know what's going to happen because you've seen it before. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Chalky Miami. Maybe set a rule here if you're doing a bunch of lineups.
3,
maximum 3. Let me see. I probably, even though you're saying they could thrive together, I'd probably want to split up Bam and Ware. So that's 1. Maybe I might set a rule of 2, man. 2 and really make yourself unique. I don't know, but
I just ran some stuff, and Terry Rozier, most popular player, hit my lineups now. 74% on DK. Duncan Robinson 59%. Jovic at 58%. Ware at 43%. The optimals, and again I add some bells and whistles, a little bit of variance. 3 Miami, 3 Miami. 4 Miami, 4 Miami, 3 Miami, 4 Miami. Yeah, so it's 3 or 4 hitting the optimals that I'm seeing right now. But now Orlando stuff can change it too. Stay tuned. You're saying 2 possibly, Chop?
Just to be different, maybe. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'll see how we get some more news up right up until the very last moment of this the early games, but. Maybe that gets you different and keeps you away from, Adebayo and Ware together, and keeps you away from Rozier and Duncan Robinson together or something like that. Maybe I don't want to play those guys all together.
Diego's got a question: is it smart to use fantasy points per dollar to build my cash lineups on FanDuel? I'm trying to learn what to use to build and create great winning lineups. Well, I mean, quite honestly, for real, like you can just not add anything and just hit optimize if you're looking for your cast lineup. And there's going to be the first 5 are probably going to be a difference of 0.2, 0.3, and just pick your favorite. Or if you I really want to play this one person, lock them in and then run and see what comes around there. And assuming it's basically the same, if that's the way I would do it. I pick a couple of my favorites, and then I definitely don't want this guy, and I X that person out. If it's a difference of 0.5, who cares? But that's if you have the projections. Use them for cash games. You don't have to finish first. That's not the point. You just got to beat half the field. I don't know, Chop. Are you still in those cash game streets? You have a thought on that?
I don't play cash games, but if I did, you pretty much summed up what I would do. I would just be hitting the optimal, hit it 20 times, 20 lineups in the optimal and see how different they were. See what the score is it's giving you on the first lineup, and then look down at the 20th and see how much difference there is. If there's a half a point difference, which is, likely to be some, then that's all the same. Then just pick a lineup in there. It's all the same. You're not sacrificing anything, and just pick the one that looks like your favorite. That's what I would do if I played cash games. But
I feel I have some sort of involvement in it. So I do like to kind of pick my favorite, and I don't like to. I know some people just play the top one, but again, the top one. And it's the blitz. I know people talk about the blitz optimal. It's the second one's 0.1 difference, right? And sometimes you see those trains that people run oh, well, this must have been the blitz optimal basically because there's 20 people with the same exact lineup in this one tournament. And how does that happen? That's where those Reddit threads start. They all must be colluding, right? There's no other possible solution. By the way, we did get Kamara ruled out, and I think Chris Murray was ruled out as well for Portland. So that's of note. We'll see how projections change. But Miami's going to be popular. They just are. You have a favorite player on Portland, or not? You don't really have anything to say about Portland, I guess.
I wouldn't go and say a favorite player because I don't know how much I want of any of them. But with 100 lineups, I'm sure I'll figure out something. The matchup against Scoot Henderson, man, he's come alive lately. So he's got some, he's got some wheels. You can definitely play him. He's kind of maybe taking a bit of Anthony Simons because of Simon's injury. So probably don't want to play those guys together, but I think you could play one of them. I'm not playing Aiden, that's for sure. Aiden stinks. Denia Villa, he was started off the year good. He's all right. He's back from his injury.
Yeah, we got Sharp's projected to start now, by the way. Jumping in.
Shaden Sharp, okay. You got all that. And then I guess maybe, if you really twist some arm and say you can only play one Blazer tonight, but you have to play one, it might just be Robert Williams, who I think he's on the showcase for being traded. So I think he gets a little run here, and he's dirt minimum.
He's 3K.
Yeah, he's dirt minimum. Like I said, I think they're going to showcase him and get rid of him before the trade deadline. So get ready.
They should have traded him like a month ago after that 2-game stretch he had, if that was possible. But yeah, I guess he gets the backup 5, 15, 16 minutes behind Ayton, depending on. But if he's 3K, I suppose it's not the worst idea in the world. Okay, Chop. 3 more games. Let's knock out the. Do we have Orlando?
We need a clue.
The third clue, a little bit behind on the clues. So red, versatile, Thespian Tuesday. I see our guy, Kirkdiese, coming in about 25 minutes for crunch time. He said that he made fun of me for being, so what did he call me? Like highfalutin or some kind of way of saying that? He said I was an elitist. It's just because of alliteration. That's why it's Thespian. You didn't pick that up? Thespian Tuesday. The third clue is parody. Parody is the third clue. So there you go. Red, versatile, parody. Those are our 3 clues. Tell me the Thespian third game in the 7:30 block. Again, 3.
Wait a minute, Dean.
Top only answer?
No, I'm not. No, I don't even have a guess because I need you to clarify. Parody, as in like a parody movie, like not you know what I'm saying? Like a parody.
Not like they're all the same. It's on the
or parody. Like there's a lot of parody in the NFL right now. Which one?
Parody. It's not
okay. Yeah. Big difference there. Big difference.
As an imitation. There you go. So do with that what you will. Orlando, Toronto, 212.5 is the total. This is the only game that is expected to be close. Orlando is a 2-point favorite now. It's 212.5. So enjoy that. Orlando minus 1.5 as far as the line currently. We are still waiting to get news on several players for the Magic, namely Cole Anthony. He had the fish, so he's questionable. We don't know if he's going to play. Gogo Batadze, of course, is still out with that head. Gary Harris is officially questionable. Jonathan Isaac is questionable. He's also ill. So an illness is going through Orlando. Jalen Suggs, all the Wagners, they're out for Orlando. Toronto, we just got Boucher ruled out. Agbaji is out. Quickly, of course, is out. So this game at least should be close in theory, but Orlando's better, but they're hurt. Toronto, I guess they're probably not as terrible as their record suggests, but what do we like here? Magic, Toronto.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good game here. It's a pretty good game here to target because of Toronto, right? So I think starting off with Toronto, I think Scotty Barnes is in play even with a tough matchup just because of his style of accumulating fantasy points. He doesn't have to score, so he can do all the other little things. That's fine. Big guy, Jakob Poeltl in the middle. I think, there's merit to him. And then they got some jump shooters on that team you could take a shot at getting hot. I think those guys are fine. RJ Barrett, still a pretty good price on DraftKings, still going to project pretty well. So I think those guys are all in play. And then it's the Orlando side is pretty interesting. I think we're going to get a little – well, I don't know now with Tyler Hero out, but KCP was probably headed towards kind of chalk, but now maybe not so much with the value that's opened up on Miami. But he's fine. Anthony Black is okay. Pick one. And Wendell Carter. He was a pretty solid play today. Wendell Carter. He's going to get some a lot of good things he can do against Toronto. Be kind of
if Isaac doesn't go, he's essentially the last center standing. I know Ben Caro can play some 5, but without Batadze, Carter might get pushed a little bit more than normal, and
Yeah.
I like bigs I like everything against.
Well, that's all we want is for Wendell Carter to get some minutes. He's always been pretty good. But the guy I really like is Paolo Banchero, even on the minutes limit and the minutes limitations lately, coming back from the injury. It's just a good matchup for him altogether. I hit the over 1.5 3-pointers. Takes a lot of 3-pointers. Toronto gives up plenty of 3-pointers. If you want to take him some kind of scoring prop in general, I think that's good for the fact that Toronto will put people at the free throw line as much as anybody in the NBA, and you're looking for guys against them that will draw fouls, and Banchero is one of the best in the NBA at drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line. So a lot of paths for him tonight. So, yeah, I like Banchero quite a bit. 8,600 is kind of – that price is very low for him considering what kind of player he is. It's obviously that way because of the recent minutes thing, but it doesn't take much, man. A good game and 29 minutes is all he needs to crack 50 points. So I'm really on the Banchero train tonight.
27, 26, 29, 29, the last four. Feels like he's creeping up to that 30-minute mark. I think he lost a couple last game, so he probably was going to get there. And they might need a little bit more tonight than other nights. So I think there's a chance he gets the 31, 32, especially if we lose Isaac, right? If we lose Anthony, just kind of keep an eye on that. And we're going to know. If we don't know, Crunch Sam's going to know because that's a 7:30 game. But I'm kind of glad that KCP is not chalk anymore, but I'm kind of bummed he's not because I didn't want to play him. I didn't want to play KCP. I think he's like his ceiling is what? Like, on the best day, what is he going to give you? 35, maybe. Don't research that, but he's 3-and-D guy, essentially not much of a shooter. Let's say he gets an outrageous amount of stocks. I'm guessing he's falling back a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, Carter's projecting really well either way. I would imagine he would grab a couple extra more minutes projection-wise if we lose Isaac because, again, he would be essentially their only big. Okay. Anything else of note as far as Orlando-Toronto, or shall we move on?
So I need a little clarification here, Dean.
Yes, sir.
Is it parody like scary movie parody?
Well, Scary Movie was a parody, if that's what you're asking. That movie, that was a parody. Yeah.
Does Scary Movie do anything for you?
It's a fun series, and there's a brand new one coming up, I think, next year.
So there's I'm trying to get a read on your poker face. The Scary Movie set off any bells?
It doesn't matter anymore because the game it was guessed, but you
what?
You are on the right track and you're on the perfect track because I know who are you thinking?
Hold
you can
on.
say it now.
Anna Faris?
No. That's no. But from that, yeah, okay. I was not expecting that answer. We do have a winner in chat, Jacob Gerardo. Guessed it correctly. The next clue would have been family, so that probably changes things. Yeah, come on, Chop. You're on the wrong side of that.
Yeah, one of the Wayans brothers.
Yeah, and then the last one gives you clarity. It should give you clarity. The last clue was elephant. So, you know which one it is, I imagine. Elephant. What are elephants known? What are a main feature that elephants have?
A big trunk?
What's next to that big trunk?
I mean, if that's what you're going for, that's not.
The Wayans brother famous. What's next to the
ears?
No.
What? So it's a Wayans brother.
Yeah. It's a Wayans brother.
Which one are you talking about?
Keenan Ivory elephant. No, is that not doing anything for you? They're killed for this. They hunt elephant for their ivory.
Oh, ivory. Oh, no, I would have never got that. The Wayans brother, yeah, because the Scary Movie had me going with parody. I was on that path, but then where I got lost in my head was I'm thinking Dean's going to change it up. He's not going to do a male actor. He's going to do a female. So then I started thinking about
they're all thespians.
Yeah, exactly. I think you were going to try to throw a curveball. So then I got that Scary Movie. Well, Anna Faris, no.
You're on the right track, though.
Wayans' brother, okay, but then I had to guess, and the elephant, I would have never thought ivory. So
Yeah, red,
Good
of
one.
course, is a color most famous for a living color. I guess depending on maybe most famous for scary movie stuff. Versatile. Keenan Ivory Wayans, writer, producer, director, actor. Dude does everything. Parody. He's famous for the scary movie stuff. Not just scary movie, but he was in Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. Family, his family, the famous family. There and everything. Keenan, Sean, Marlon, Damon Wayans Jr. There's probably somebody I'm missing. Kim. And then elephant was the last clue. All right, so there you go. That is Thespian Tuesday. 10 o'clock, Philadelphia, Denver, 230.5 is a total. It's a pretty healthy total. Unfortunately, Denver is favored by 12 or so. It could get even more if we happen to lose Paul George. And again, this is 2.5 hours after the last game. We're probably not going to get news on Paul George. You never know, but probably not. He's questionable. Drummond's questionable. Yabusele's questionable. Kyle Lowry's out. KJ Martin's out. All the Martins are out. Caleb Martin's out. Embiid, of course, Joel Embiid is out. Denver is fully healthy. They're fully healthy. I mean, I'm not going to count Ken Carr. They're a fully healthy team. So, yeah. How do we feel about Philly at Denver? Do we have the money to pay for Joker? Do we want to pay for Joker? Always Joker if you have the money. He should annihilate Yabusele, Drummond, or whatever's Bona, whatever gets thrown in front of him. Are we prioritizing Joker? How do we feel about Philly, Denver as of right now?
Well, prioritizing, I don't necessarily like. He's not the first guy in my lineup, but obviously, if he goes for on a small slate like this, a 70-point game, which is clearly in his range of outcomes, like he could grab you 80 in a heartbeat, and the floor is probably.
You see that tweet, by the way, Choppa, that producer Steve threw up there? The last time Embiid was in. I mean, he's got an excuse this time, to be fair.
The last time Embiid played in Denver. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people who would say Embiid is completely scared of the MVP of the league.
He's actually hurt right now, to be
fair. He is now, but it's been quite a while, though.
Yes.
Come on. But, yeah, so Embiid could definitely be the guy. I mean, this is what DFS is like. 2v2. That's what DFS boils down to a lot of times, especially in the NBA. Is Jokic plus the $4,000 guy going to outscore Anthony Davis plus the $5,500 guy?
Well, is he?
They're coin flips. I don't care who it is and what the process is. Those are coin flips, right? You just got to get lucky and get on the right side of that sometimes. So, like, if he goes for 80 and then you go out there and you take Rozier and he goes for 25 or 20, even 20, that could be enough if Davis only goes for 60 and then the $5,500. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Jokic is in play for GPPs. I'll have him. He's got the highest ceiling of anybody on the slate, highest floor of anybody on the slate. It's a good matchup. He's in good shape. Russell Westbrook's playing good. Get you some Russell Westbrook. I'm not going to have much Jamal Murray, but obviously he's played better lately, so he can get back in there. He could definitely do that. On the Philly side, I don't know. This is a tough one. Philly's a tough sell. Paul George, 8,100. He's played a lot better lately. He's putting up some big numbers now. It's not the imposing matchup it once was, so you got that going for it. But the guy I think is going to score a lot of points here is Tyrese Maxey. The problem is he's got to do more than just score points at $9,900.
He better score a lot of points.
Yeah, he's very priced up. So I need some other stuff, and I'm just not sure I get enough of it. So what is he averaging, or not even averaging, just his recent run of games with Embiid out? He's a 50. Let's call it 55-point guy. Let's call it a 55-point median. Are you even satisfied with that at $9,900? I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe not. It's tough.
By the way, just I know you like your defense versus archetype stuff. Combo guards. We're calling Tyrese Maxey a combo guard. The number one matchup in basketball for combo guards, Denver.
No way. Denver's that bad?
Denver's not been great defensively.
No, I know.
By the way, Joker's got the third best matchup for versatile bigs, and he's certainly a versatile big. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get there either at Maxey, but if this game stays close, it's probably him dropping 40, right? Which he kind of has to do, like you said, especially if we lose Paul George, which I don't know if we will. But you got to pay for it. He's almost 10K. It's hard to justify, but the usage will be there. Is he gonna, is he gonna get those points? I don't know. But you got to get your guy Butto in line in chat. He said, "Oh no, never mind. I read it incorrectly. My apologies, Butto." He said, "Embiid robbed Joker out of the MVP in 2022, 2023." Yeah. I mean, I think it was just like people were tired of giving it to Joker, and you got to change it up sometimes. But yeah, just this year it's probably going to be SGA, I think, and the tiebreaker is going to be OKC is the best team in basketball, and Denver's just not. Anything else of note here as far as Philly and Denver? Looking at the ownership stuff.
Let me see here. Oh, buddy. No. But we can go on to the next game, and you can give me a little downtime here, Dean, and check out and redo my college basketball roster real quick. But you can start us off on the next game.
The news has come out. The news break. I'll let you get to it. But yeah, the last game is Washington and the Lakers. We've had this news with LeBron and Anthony Davis as far as the injury stuff, and just kind of looking at it, it's like it feels like one of these guys probably sits. But if you look at the injury report, Anthony Davis has been upgraded to probable. Now we've seen these probables go away sometimes, but upgraded to probable with his calf. LeBron last night he was in Atlanta. I think it was Atlanta with the celebrating Ohio State. Of course, it doesn't take that long to get across the country. So he's, I presume, in the building and good to go to play tonight against Washington. Awesome matchup versus Washington. They gave him a foot. He's been managing it. I assume both play. Earlier in the day, I thought Davis was going to sit, but, these things change. The Wizards, nothing really new here. Brogdon's been out. He's still out. Bagley's been out. He's still out. Same deal with Baldwin and Bay. Those guys don't matter at all. Chop, I'm trying to buy some time. Like, giving you time. You need another minute or so? I'm happy to give you another minute if you want.
Yeah, Dean, I think, maybe a quick little minute might be pretty good for me. Go for it, Dean. You got it, man. Come on. You got it.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to get caught. Maybe it's just me being paranoid. I guess we can just assume LeBron and Davis are both playing. But I would just say, ideally, I do not want to have LeBron a la carte and nothing else on these last two games. I got to have a plan just in case. And I want him in the utility spot. I want to be able to pivot to Davis if I have $500. That's all ideally. But, again, I haven't made my lineup, so we'll see how that goes down. We currently have Davis coming in at 34% on DK. I think that's well ahead of Joker as far as ownership. Yeah, Joker's at 25. We're going to compare and contrast. LeBron coming in at 35%, 38% actually. I was sort of thinking about if I'd be willing to play them both. But again, before I got to that thought, I was like, one's going to be sitting. But maybe not. Maybe they both play. And what if Washington keeps this game close? This Lakers team's not that good. You got some Kuzma potential revenge on the other side as far as run backs. Austin Reeves looks really good as well. Now he's fully priced up. He's $8K on DK. He's going to grab some ownership, about 5-10%, give or take. The rest of the Washington stuff, I guess Poole, I suppose you can play. Kuzma, the most popular player we're seeing right now in Washington at 14% on DK. Wanted to see give a FanDuel a little bit of love, see anything different over on FanDuel. Just haven't really acknowledged. It's pretty similar as far as the slates, but ownership-wise over there, obviously you can only roster one center. Davis, though, is power forward / center, 29%. LeBron at 47%. Max Christie coming in at 30%. That seems bad. Does that change as the show progressed? Let me give that a refresh because I know that's the way it was earlier today, but like the nonsense like KCP and Max Christie, I think, is falling aside, especially if we get news for Orlando, which we'll probably get at 7 o'clock on the dot when crunch time comes in here. Chop, how we doing? I don't mean to be ignoring you, but I'm also happy to give you. You look like you're all set there. I think you're all set as far as your college teams. Feel free to tell me otherwise. Oh.
Let me see here. Well, let me see. I got 5 minutes left. I just did one. I just uploaded, Dean, I think.
Okay.
I think I'm good to go here. Let me see what I got used up. All right. I got a whole bunch of this kid from Alabama. He's a freshman. He's pretty good. But yeah.
What's his name? Do you know?
Liberian Philon. He's a point guard. He's a pretty good guy. He's pretty good. They got a team total of 91 tonight in college. That's massive. So,
by the way, Chop, you know that my UCF almost upset you the other day. which would have
Very
been
close.
amazing.
They're pretty good, man. I was surprised. They're really good. I think they're probably underranked, but tonight they go and play Iowa State on the road. In the road in the Big 12 is really tough to win.
Tough.
So, but also if you watch it, I know you didn't watch the game.
Didn't. I had a buddy of mine who was really excited about it.
I saw a guy who's kind of offensively challenged for Houston. Their power forward, not great. Has a left hand near the basket. He's all right. He tore him up. So I got to use that to my advantage tonight. I got the Iowa State power forward tonight. I got to roll with. So
okay, is he a lefty too?
No, he's not a lefty, but he's he's pretty good. But yeah, that was close, man. They took a shot with like 1 second left. Juwan Roberts made a layup with 1 second left, or UCF would have pulled the upset. UCF has a solid team. They've got a freshman too. He's about 7'2" from, I don't know where he's from, but like Uganda or something like that. He's really good, man. Who was the guy that used to be
the tall guy? Well, they had Jordan. Michael Jordan's kids went there too.
No, what's the used to be when you were in their heyday at UCF basketball, like 7'6" kid. Taco Fall, was that a UCF guy?
Well, Taco Fall was UCF, yeah.
This guy kind of reminds you of Taco Fall, but he's only about 7'2".
Taco's playing somewhere overseas, right? I don't think he's playing anywhere in America.
Nah, he's not NBA, not an NBA guy, but
he's got to be playing somewhere though. Like,
yeah, for sure, you can't be that. You can't be that big and not play somewhere. Yeah, but it should be a fun night here. We got a lot of games. Almost all the games lock early, so I had to get that in there. All right, where are we at? LA.
Yeah, we have crunch time coming in soon, and I'm curious to get your thoughts as far as Lakers and the Wiz. They're waiting on Kirkwood. Kirkwood's hanging out in the chat, but he's not actually in the in the StreamYard ready to go. He's not in the bullpen, but he should be coming in shortly. I believe it's Neil Orfield as well, and you have Roth holding it down. But you have a priority list as far as
Washington. So Washington, not even really that great. Obviously, if somebody falls on your roster, is fine. But I'm not prioritizing them. I am prioritizing the Lakers. 3 of them, like them a lot. Number 1, Anthony Davis, not just because of the scoring. If he just doesn't settle for 3-pointers tonight, he can tear them up inside the arc. Just don't settle for 3-pointers, Davis. And the reason I prioritize him over LeBron is because he also contributes more in the rebounding, and this is a great rebounding matchup. So he's going to get the boards. So Anthony Davis, points plus rebounds, I kind of like that over right there. LeBron's next, or actually, I think Austin Reeves is next for me based on the price tag. I like Austin Reeves here. Primarily a 3-point shooter. That's where he's going to get his points. That's where you can get your points against Washington. I like Austin Reeves here. And then comes LeBron, who I like a lot too, but just a little bit less than those other two. LeBron's taking a lot of threes these days. He's not quite the same guy he once was, and that's a good thing against Washington. Takes some three. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't say it's a bad thing, I'm just letting you know that he's not this. We all want to think of him as the very same player. Yeah, he puts up similar numbers, but he just does it in a different way these days. Is all I'm trying to say. And a lot of it's from 3-point line, and that's good in this matchup. So, LeBron definitely. Bringing in crunch time here in just a second. Chop, tell me who's breaking the slate. Okay, let me refill. Man, Dean, this is a tough one today. You were ready for this, right? You can't pretend like you weren't ready for this. We had some late news, so that would have changed things, but I'm not going to try to overanalyze it. I just think for the price tag, I'm going with Paolo Banchero. I'm going out on a limb there. I think, let's get him 31, 32 minutes and 1.5 fantasy points per minute. I think he can break it. We should be getting that Orlando clarity right now as crunch time's coming in. Hart officially good to go for New York. No surprise there. And Cat with his thumb is good to go also. I imagine we will get Orlando news as we seamlessly transition to crunch time. Here comes crunch time right now. Chris Kirkwood, Kirkdiese coming in here momentarily. We got Neil Orfield. Roth's got a big smirk. He's got a shit-eating grin on his face. I think it's clothing related. I feel like that's what's going on here.
I'm just really proud that I got the flannel with Neil. It feels good. It looks right. Our patterns kind of match up. If it's nice.
Neil, you're on mute. We want to hear your critique though.
My bad. Am I coming through my microphone now? It unplugged randomly. I wanted to give the note that he should lose the undershirt. Just let your chest hair hang out there.
It was very last minute when I saw you on the show. Actually, Dean was like, "We got Neil," and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I ran and I got my flannel. But
Nice.
by the way, I have just so much more chest hair that I would embarrass you. So I don't want to.
You got to prove that. Now that
I don't
you
want
made
to
the claim, you got to
emasculate
prove
you.
that. Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
All right.
We'll have Roth come back in momentarily. By the way, we did get the Orlando news. Gary Harris has a hamstring. He's not playing basketball. Jett Howard unavailable as well. Now, Isaac is good to go with his illness. But the big one, I imagine, one of the bigger ones is Cole Anthony. He had the fish, so he's not playing. He is out. So, we'll have an adjustment coming in here as well. Kirkwood, what's going on here? You're hanging out in the chat. You couldn't jump in the StreamYard until like 5 minutes too late?
I just got news, and I was trying to fix my lineup.
I mean, I'm not that impressed. Come on.
Actually, pretty much the exact same.
Yeah.
I'm
I
disappointed.
was expecting like a
myself
mat.
now that I look at it on camera,
I
thought I
thought
had more
40-year-old virgin thing going on here. That's not at all what we're seeing.
Smiley face. Roth, it's snowing in Florida. Seamless segue. It's snowing in Florida. The Panhandle, but it's still Florida.
Yeah. It's been snowing here in Houston. We got 3 inches of snow. The whole city shut down. I've just been sledding with my kids. It's been an awesome, awesome day. I am definitely not drinking water. Things are great today, honestly.
Good to hear. The kids are off school, I imagine. So have you had them all day? Is that the issue?
Yeah. So I'm hydrating, but it's been a lot of fun. Snow is fun if you only deal with it once every 5 years. I could see how if you were dealing with it day in and day out, it could get a little annoying. But one day every 5 years is pretty fun.
Neil in Minnesota, can you speak to that?
Yeah, I don't enjoy snow. I agree with you. I would love it if it came for a couple days, melted away. That would be fun. Go sledding, whatever. But here it's so cold that it sticks the entire winter, makes everything slippery. You have to put on big old boots. You can't just like wear your shoes out. A lot of Minnesotans love the snow. I'm not actually built for Minnesota. I don't love the cold. I don't love the snow. My family. I grew up here, but I'm not. I'd rather be somewhere warm if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Roth wants it like the Olympics or the World Cup, like once every 4. It's coming in a half hour. All right, Chop, myself, yourself, the person y'all watching, hit that like button, do subscribe, do turn on those notifications, but do not go anywhere. You got 27 minutes of crunch time with 2 of the absolute best in the business. You got Chris Kirkwood, Kirkdiese, Juggalo Nation, Kid Yahoo, Neil Orfield, Kevin Roth. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. 2 of the sharpest minds in the biz. We got my flannel brother Neil in the house. Neil, you doing good, man? Is this an XFL hat you have on?
This is it looks like it's like from the 90s. I think people often assume it's from the 90s. I bought this straight from The Rock. This is when The Rock took over. They came out with a new clothing line. I know it looks very weathered. It's very dirty. But no, this is a fairly new XFL hat.
Okay. Well, I mean, give it another 2 years and there will probably be another rendition. It'll be
Sure.
fresh again.
Well, it's UFL now, sadly.
Yeah, but who knows? We don't know. It may come back to XFL. Well, looking good. And by the way, I bought this flannel because I saw you rocking all these flannels. I was like, man, you look awesome. So I told my wife, I was like, I went on a shopping spree. I got some things. I showed her this flannel and she just laughed at me.
Oh, no. It's a great flannel.
She just laughed. I thought so. I think
she needs to adjust. She needs to adjust to it.
That's how I feel because I'm not adjusting. We got Chris Kirkwood in the house as well. Kirkwood, if you were wearing a flannel, would you have more chest hair than me and Neil? And does my chest hair better than his?
I have too much chest hair. And if I care, I already gave up on everything. Like I said, I go to Supercuts for my haircuts. If I was back in the old days, I used to trim the chest hair a little bit before I was going out by the pool or whatever. But now it's just a freaking forest of
Okay.
And God forbid if I tell you below my chest, I mean, God forbid I talk about that too. But
can I get off the show now? Hey, is it a 3-game slate? Is that what's going on? I've been, doing
5 game slate.
The late games matter?
Yep. And 4 of the games have double-digit spreads.
Come on.
So it's an interesting one.
Talking chest hair. Smash that like button for us. Negative Creep says, does Supercuts do chest hair? Maybe, you give him a big enough tip. Here's the deal. I thought I was just told that we don't have to wait for late news, but now I've heard that there are late games that we will be hanging around. Is there news that we're waiting for here, Kirkwood, in those later games?
Yeah, quite a bit actually. So we've got the games. The way they shake out is 7:30 right now. We just got the Orlando news that we were waiting on. New York news is coming in now, which is pretty much what we all were expecting. Then at what time is this one? Then we still have Portland, Miami. We've gotten the news there, and then we got to wait till 10. Philly, Denver, and it's the Philly side that is pretty important. We've got Embiid already out. Then we've got Drummond questionable and Dancing Bear Yabusele questionable. So, I mean, they could be really hard up for a big man against Joker. And then also Paul George is questionable in that game. So that's big. And then there's been a lot of speculation about people thinking LeBron would be out, but LeBron is probable and Anthony Davis is probable. I'm just assuming that they're playing and that all is fine there. But other than that, we've got blowouts to worry about too. There's 4 out of the 5 games are all double-digit point spreads. We've got one game, which is kind of pretty – actually, it's not so bad, but we hear Orlando and you don't want to play it. But we've got a thinned out Orlando squad tonight. We've got Toronto, which is a great team to get fantasy points against. And with this Orlando defense hasn't been doing as great as it's been past. You know, they've been missing so many of their guys with Goga out the most recently. So, yeah, it's a pretty interesting slate for a 5-gamer on a Tuesday night.
Okay, it sounds kind of terrible. Like I have to wait for news.
It's pretty totally terrible.
Okay, all right, just checking. There's like 4 potential blowouts.
Like, who wants to stay up till 10 o'clock, 10:30, and like sit there by the computer? You know, like
not this guy. Yeah, I don't. But that's okay. We're here. We're gonna give some advice. I was about to like start mass entering because I'm a little tipsy, and I was like, yeah, hell yeah, we're putting all the chips in. But after hearing the general description of the slate, I'll do something else with my night. That's all right. That's not the point. I'll put in one entry just to have a little sweat. Let's dive into the content here. We've got a little bit of time until lock. Our guy Butho says Kashad Johnson is out. Is that a real person? And does him being out matter?
Don't think it's a real person.
Classic Butho.
Butho got me. Classic Butho. Classic Butho. Okay. Hey, let's dive into the slate. Kirkwood, what are we doing here? You get to start us off at the old point guard spot on FanDuel.
Okay, on FanDuel. I'm still waiting to adjust some stuff with Cole Anthony out, but Anthony Black, I'm sure, will be a good play. Let me just pull it up here. Okay. Austin Reeves is the guy that I'm getting the most of at 7,700 Lakers. It's a matchup with Washington, and you're just hoping that they stay close, but Reeves should play a bunch of time anyway. He's a beast. Plus LeBron, you know, was everyone saw him at the game last night in Atlanta. You know, I don't know if he drinks or not. I don't know if I know people were speculating that he would be out because of that fact, but you know, maybe he takes a little bit of a back seat in the game against Washington and lets Reeves and Anthony Davis go to work. But other than that, we've got Tyler Hero is out. So that was big news. So should be starting as Terry Rozier. Should be a good spot for him in general to start, you know, to absorb a lot of that usage. You know, he's got big games in him. He hasn't really done a ton on the Heat, but this is a good spot for him. Also a matchup with Portland. Then there's Tyrese Maxey, who could get a much bigger boost if some of these guys end up out, like Paul George mainly. Jamal Murray is in play. Jalen Brunson you can play. Anthony Black, like I said, certainly should get a bunch of minutes now. You know, pretty much their only decent ball handler, I would say. But they may do. You might see some like Point Paulo tonight. But anyway, I like Anthony Black. Jordan Poole, I kind of like. If you're gonna wait around for the late night hammers and play some of the Lakers, like Jordan Poole or Kuzma would be your guys for the bring back. And then Scoot Henderson. And Neil might have some other ones. I would like to maybe actually wow, D'Angelo Russell's priced up on FanDuel. But anyway, pass to Neil.
Okay.
All
I
right.
don't mean to jinx it, but I've played Scoot Henderson maybe a dozen times in my career in DFS, and he has made me regret that a dozen times. Like, does that dude ever get there? Ever?
He's on a little hot streak right
He
now.
just
must-
did,
I
yeah.
saw that. I saw that price, and I was like, he must be doing something recently because that freaking guy kills me.
3 out of
by
his
the way-
last 4 has been almost 50 fantasy points.
Okay, I was gonna say, there's how the hell is he that price? That explains it. Other thought: LeBron does get drunk. By the way, he gets wine drunk all the time, but I believe it's wine only for what it's worth. Neil, what are we doing at point guard?
First of all, people confirming that Kashad Johnson is a real person. All right. Turns out he's a real person, but I don't think it matters for this slate. Yeah. So at point guard, I just ran it. I'm getting to a ton of Anthony Black on FanDuel at 4,900, projects really well. Terry Rozier again with Tyler Hero out, getting to a ton. And then it's nobody else above, but both of those I got to 50% in my first run on FanDuel. Then I get into a good amount of Austin Reeves, which kind of surprises me at 7,700 with both LeBron and AD in, but getting to a ton right now. Great matchup. Jamal Murray, Tyrese Maxey, Carrington, and then Davion Mitchell, the only other player I'm getting in double digits at point guard.
Okay, who do you have at shooting guard, Neil?
Yep, a lot of the same. So it's Black, Rozier at the top for me. I wouldn't actually play this. I'm currently getting to above 50% of Contavious Caldwell Pope, which I would cut back on that number. I think he's like a fine play, but I don't want more than 50%. Duncan Robinson, Austin Reeves, Jamal Murray, Bilal Coulibaly, Mikal Bridges, Max Christie, and then Paul George, the final player that I'm getting to double digits at small forward.
Okay. Wait, did we go to small forward?
Sorry, at shooting guard.
Okay. Well, I was like, boy, I didn't think I was drinking that much. Kirkwood, what are we doing at shooting guard?
Ditto what he said. Austin Reeves, probably the best play if this game stays competitive. And I have to assume that any Laker game will stay competitive. Terry Rozier, really solid play. Duncan Robinson, solid play here. Should be jacking up shots. Gets probably getting the start and 4,300. Jamal Murray, Anthony Black. You can play Mikal Bridges in the revenge spot here against his former squad against Brooklyn, who I do like, but I probably would play him at the small forward position because the small forward position is really weak tonight. And then other than that, Max Christie and Kelly Oubre could end up being really, really solid play if Paul George is out.
My buddy Eric Johnson says, what are your thoughts on my best friend, Eric Gordon? He's only 3'8", and he's my best friend.
That's crazy, huh? And you work him on the court, right? Like that's what happens.
Yeah,
like, you guys play 1-on-1. He can outshoot you, but you're taking him to the hole every time.
He's
right?
just not strong enough. He does, Yeah,
I know.
body his ass. Yeah. No.
Yeah, he's fine. I'm not nothing. Depends. You got to see how some of these. If Paul George is out.
Yeah, Paul George is out, then maybe.
Okay. Small forward, Kirkwood. What do you like?
All right. Scotty Barnes, my favorite small forward. And so he's a stud. You got to pay for it at 9,100, and you'd also have to pay for LeBron at 9,900 if that's what you want to go with. Jimmy Butler, all right, back in our lives, requested a trade. Can't really pinpoint how much he's going to do, but it has looked awful. But like, it still wouldn't shock me because Hero is out if he ends up going full throttle. But he hasn't really done anything yet since all this drama. He hasn't, his game log looks really bad if you just pull that up. But
he could be the dude who just decides, like, I'm going to prove a point tonight. And tonight could be the night when he's like, I'm going to drop 50 just to show I can do it.
But the only problem with that is like he's coming. He's not low owned. He's going to be chalky because of the situation. So it's like. Yeah, I do think the same thing, though. But Duncan Robinson, I already gave my spiel on Mikal Bridges' revenge. RJ Barrett, so that's at least he gets the good game environment, 1.5 point spread with Orlando. Paolo Banchero, great matchup. Probably can get there on his minutes, but Minutes will certainly be capped, but maybe he gets a couple extra. So he's in play, I guess. And then Kelly Oubre again if Paul George out. And Paul George is a fine play himself if he plays.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff, Neil. I want your thoughts at small forward. By the way, we heard that Scoot is starting, and since I badmouthed him, he's definitely going for 60 fantasy points. But your thoughts at small forward, Neil?
Yeah, I'm LeBron is the player I'm getting to the most of. I guess just enough value to get there. I am playing a good amount of Paolo Banchero, projecting him for just over 30 minutes. I think he can play a little bit more today. Duncan Robinson, Tristan Da Silva, Scotty Barnes, Bilal Koulibaly. Man, a lot that I have in double digits here. Mikal Bridges, RJ Barrett, OG Anunoby, Cameron Johnson, and then I still have Paul George in there at double digits at small forward.
Does a lot that you have at that position mean that it's a really good position or a really crappy position? And you're just spreading your ownership around?
I think it generally means that there are other positions that the like point per dollar value is better. And here there's like nobody that stands out as the clear best point per dollar value at the position.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was thinking. All right, power forward. What do you like there?
Yeah, power forward, again, LeBron, Paolo, and then Anthony Davis, Tristan Da Silva, Scotty Barnes, Jimmy Butler, RJ Barrett, OG Anunoby, Cameron Johnson, Noah Clowney, and Nikola Jovic. I'm getting to double digits.
Did just get a question from Joey. Jovic surely gets all the minutes and shoots without wear in the second unit? ? And that's, I guess, kind of how you feel about it. You're down with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting to 10% currently, so I'm not like going overboard. But yeah, I think he's a strong enough play.
Good note. Kirkwood, your thoughts of power forward?
Yep. All right. Anthony Davis can play in center or power forward. Probably my favorite play. The Wizards. So the Wizards give up the most fantasy points to every single position except the small forward. And
It's amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, they're just on another tier with how bad they are and how good they are for fantasy points for the opponent. And centers should crush. And, Anthony Davis is that big who can like run the floor and play at a faster pace. So he should smash. And especially if you think maybe LeBron, takes his foot off the gas because of the late night last night or whatever. AD is the guy for sure. LeBron is right. Is cheaper. It's 11.4 for AD. It's 9.9 for LeBron. Scotty Barnes, I already said I like a lot. The same names at small forward. Jimmy Butler. Da Silva, you can play now. Tristan Da Silva for Orlando with Cole Anthony out. He's not bad. And he's 4,600. Probably plays 30 plus minutes. So solid piece of value if you need it. Jovic, I am down with also. And trying to find. And I'm, Kuz back in LA could be horrible. Could jack up 25 shots and keep them in the game and be a really solid run back. So,
yeah, I kind of like the Coos call. Neil, what are you doing at power forward? And I'm just realizing we're like 11 minutes until lock. What do you like at power forward?
Okay. I think I already did power forward. Did I not?
Okay.
LeBron.
Kirkwood, what do you like at center?
Damn, I thought I was getting off the hook for a while.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you were too, but you're not.
Do you want me to go? Do you want me to go first? I could.
No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
Okay.
So Ware for Miami is a beast. And now with Hero out and some other guys out, projecting for a nice solid minutes. Got a bunch of minutes in his last game.
Is this the guy that Dean talked up 2 weeks ago and he was just
Yeah.
fully right about everything that he said? Damn,
Well,
Dean.
not fully. Dean is
He was
never
fully right. He was
No.
fully right about this guy. Tip the cap. Good job, Dean.
We don't tip caps to Dean. We don't do that.
He was on him when he was 3K. Yeah, you go.
Yeah. Shout out to Dean.
Anyways.
Just kidding. Yeah, 5.4K. He should smash against Portland. Love him. Wendell Carter Jr. Just should get a bunch of minutes. He's cheap. He's not a bad fantasy point producer in the past. He's had a little bit rough this season, but solid. Anthony Davis, like I said, Jokic, obviously. Now, how competitive that will be game really depends. I mean, it's a national TV game, so I kind of lean that Paul George plays, that he's and like Drummond probably plays too. and Dancing Bear. So I think these questionable guys are going to play, but we'll see. But Jokic on national TV could be pretty damn good, even though he is kind of pricey at 12.7. Bam maybe gets more usage, more offensive shots that need to be made. 7,800 against Ayton, who's pretty soft. Bam could be able to bully him. So I like that. Drummond, if he plays, Jakob Poeltl and Karl Anthony Towns, kind of disappointed last night, but gets a really solid matchup against Brooklyn.
Okay. Neil, your thoughts at the center spot?
Yep. So Khalil Ware, I'm getting to a good amount, over 50%. Anthony Davis, Wendell Carter, Joker, and that's it as far as double digits for me.
Okay. Who do you like more, just in a vacuum, AD or Jokic, Neil?
I'm getting to a lot more of AD
Because he's got dual position.
Dual position. It's late, so you got a little bit more flexibility and nice, great matchup with Washington.
Yeah. Joey pointing out Kuz's last 2 games against the Lakers, 16 shots and over 10 rebounds in both games. So okay.
Revenge. Okay.
Yeah, right. He seems like the guy who would care about that kind of thing.
True.
I don't know how I would know that, but it just feels that way. We got to get to DK. We are 8.5 minutes until lock. Also, you got to get this sweet deal coming at you. Limited time. Get your first month of Combo Pro for $79.99. That's just $15 more than PGA Premium. It's $5 more than NBA Premium. That is value, my friends. It's like getting Nikola Jokic at 55 hundo. You'd be like, yeah, sign me up. DraftKings, Neil, you get to lead us off at the old guard spot. We'll combo it. Guard on DK.
Getting to Anthony Black the most, looks good at 4,400. Scotty Barnes, Terry Rozier, and I'm going in order of my ownership, by the way. D'Angelo Russell, Paul George, who I gave a little bump to, Contavious Caldwell Pope, Jamal Murray, Duncan Robinson, Mikal Bridges, and that's it as far as double digits. Grady Dick right there, but I'm just under double digits there.
Okay. Kirkwood, your thoughts at guard, and you don't have to rush. So now that we're doing it this way, we got plenty of time.
All right. Oh, we're doing guard. Sorry.
Just like combo guard, point, shooting, all of it.
Yeah. Okay. So then we will say Terry Rozier rates out as probably the best play for me. Jamal Murray is there. D'Angelo Russ. Wait a minute. Yeah, D'Angelo Russell is there. Much cheaper on DraftKings as opposed to FanDuel. It's 5,800. The dude just has insane level of usage when he's playing with most of these scrubs, and a bunch of them are out. So minutes might be a concern, but he absolutely could go nuts in his minutes. I mean, he does have elite level usage. So
who is this?
D'Angelo Russell.
Okay.
There's just no one really on Brooklyn left to score. I mean, there's Cam Thomas, but he's going to be locked up with OG Anunoby probably. So I think if this is a D'Angelo Russell game. Jordan Poole. Let's see. No problem mixing them. I mean, all the same guys. Anthony Black, Scotty Barnes are in play. Russell Westbrook's potentially in play. Austin Reeves, Tyrese Maxey. That's about it.
Okay. I'm going to make you mix them again as we go to forward. And Kirkwood, you get to lead us here, small forward and power forward. And I know that is difficult, but you got to do it.
Yeah. Okay. As I said, Tristan da Silva is a solid play. Just, cheap, should get a bunch of minutes. Going to be popular, but he's a good source of value. This Denny Avdia should get the start. Do we have this Portland lineup? I think we do, right? Let me see. Yep, Avdia is in it. So like that.
Javier Hernandez says nobody is mentioning Avdia, and he is going to kill it.
Well, I just mentioned him, so boom, let's go.
There it is.
Rui Hachimura, cheap Laker value. I mean, everyone's in play. Plus, that's a revenge spot back against his former team in Washington. OG Anunoby, just cheap for the Knicks. 6,100 is if that game's, I think that game will be pretty competitive. I just feel like, the Battle of New York's, even if I think D'Angelo Russell will keep him in the game. Jaime Jaquez should, gets a little boost now with Hero out. There's definitely risk there, but yeah, that's about it. I'll have Neil.
Okay, Neil, your thoughts at forward in general?
Yep. At forward on DraftKings, currently getting to 100% Khalil Ware. Then I have Scott and nobody else over 50%. Scotty Barnes, Tristan Da Silva, getting to a lot of Paul George, Paolo, LeBron, RJ Barrett, Avdia, Michael Porter Jr., and Mikal Bridges. And then nobody else in double digits. Nikola Jovic just behind double digits, just below.
Okay, let's go to the center spot. I'm kind of interested on DK, maybe more so than FanDuel, but maybe it's the same damn thing. Neil, what do you like center-wise?
Yep. So again, Khalil Ware getting to
it's literally the same exact thing. Okay. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I mean, Khalil Ware, Wendell Carter Jr., Anthony Davis, Joker. Getting to more Joker here, 30% on DraftKings. Pirtle. Drummond, I'm getting to double digits. I gave him a little boost with the hope of some late swap there. If either Drummond or Yabusele ends up sitting, I think one of them is going to look like an awesome play. And I like Drummond if he starts regardless. So I gave him a little boost, and he is my final player in double digits.
Okay. Kirkwood, center.
I just want to say I was getting a ton of Ware too. I had my, my computer is really slow, right? When I go on this, I have too many tabs open. So.
Yeah, but I mean, for 4-2.
Yeah. I'm saying my thing was wrong. It was like now I look at it and I'm like,
I got you. Yeah.
So center Ware for sure. Anthony Davis, right, is my favorite stud. Jokic, Wendell Carter Jr., Cat, Drummond, Bam, Pirtle, and some little GPP love for DeAndre Ayton.
Okay. Good stuff. Guys, we have 2-3 minutes or so until lock. If you got some questions, get them in and get them in now. Okay. We already got a couple here. DKGPP, Kirkwood, Brunson Sharp or Reeves Poole?
Reeves Poole.
Another one.
Late night hammer for you.
Yeah, by a little time too. Aside says FanDuel Cash. Kirkwood, right back to you. Wendell and Clowney or Koulibaly and Ware?
Koulibaly and Ware.
Yep. DK Cash. Neil, this is for you. RJ Barrett is the last piece. And would you play Ware and Jovic together in Cash?
Yeah, no issue playing them together in Cash. And then RJ Barrett as the last piece. I don't think I'm getting to, or probably not for RJ Barrett in Cash. He's a fine enough value. I guess it's okay.
Okay, if that's where you land. That's where you land. All right. Yeah. DKGPP, Neil, does Corey Joseph get extra run? Vomit emoji.
I am not expecting a ton of extra run. I'm expecting like under 20 minutes for Corey Joseph.
Okay. D-Rock says DKGPP, Kirkwood, assuming all the Philly guys are in, you want Council or Christie?
Christie.
Falcor says Kirkwood, FanDuel single entry, Carter or Ware at center? Actually, I shouldn't answer. That's actually a good one.
Where?
Were they both center only?
They're both good. No, they should be both multi-positional.
Where are we talking? FanDuel or DraftKings? On DraftKings, Ware is power forward eligible.
This is FanDuel.
Oh, okay.
Carter or Ware? I don't know about their eligibility.
It's Ware for me. Both look good though.
Okay. Neil, large field, DKGPP, less than a minute until lock. Play Bruce Brown at small forward or wait for Sixers news?
I prefer waiting for Sixers news. Bruce Brown is like playable, but like not great.
Bruce Brown?
Yeah, he's back in our lives like barely.
Oh, I was like, I feel like I had a flashback. It hit me from like 10 years ago or something. Am I thinking of the right dude? Or
he was play a lot last season.
Wow. All right. Yeah, felt like forever ago. All right. Hey, we hit the lock. That's good. And we did all the things we came here to do. And all that we ask of you is to hit the thumbs up. That's it. We did all the hard stuff, gave you the plays, the FanDuel, the DK, answer the questions, did all the tough stuff. All you got to do is hit that like button for us. That is all that we ask. We're going to bounce on out of here. So for Kirkwood, for my flannel brethren, Neil, and for everybody working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.